Good morning, everybody. I am Tracy, and thank you for joining us on another episode of What Has Changed Your Life. Today, my guest is Marisa, and Marisa is a registered acupuncturist, and her goal is basically to improve your health and quality of life through traditional Chinese medicine. So, thank you, Marisa, for joining me today. I am so glad you're here
You're
after
welcome.
all our technical difficulties this morning.
Exactly. One way to wake up on a Sunday.
It's like, ah!
All right.
So tell me, you and I have met, we've known each other for well over a year or so now. So tell me again and tell everybody, how did you get into being an acupuncturist and traditional Chinese medicine?
The journey entailed my husband getting very sick, um, deathbed ill, and we were through the system. Western medicine had a lot of challenges and how to deal with him. So we went to Chinese medicine, and that in conjunction with a particular Western doctor, we were able to get him back on his feet. So it was quite amazing. I spent hours and hours in that clinic, and the number of people I saw go through and what Chinese medicine was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard to get back into the business world at that point, right?
Yeah.
You just wanted to help people.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
As my husband improved, I went back to school. I had a child. We moved into a house. It was wonderful. And here I am.
And here you are.
And here I am.
So, if you don't mind sharing with us, was it a combination of techniques in the traditional Chinese medicine that helped him, or was it just the acupuncture, or was it, all the other different techniques? So tell me, first of all, the different techniques that you can use, and then tell me what it was that kind of helped him get back on his feet again.
So for Chinese medicine, there is an herbal component, which I do not do. There's also an acupuncture component, which is using the needles or acupressure.
Mm-hmm.
Also cupping, which is a suction using cups. So typically it becomes popular around the Olympics, where you'll see the Olympians with the big red circles on their backs.
On their back, yes.
Exactly. And then there's something called gua sha that we do, which is a form of scraping. It brings heat to the skin, helps strip the muscle. And then there's also a Chinese massage called tuina that we do. So
wow.
we do all kinds. So I'll incorporate every part of this into what I do.
So with the acupuncture needles,
mm-hmm.
So they're going to different pressure points in the body. Is that the idea behind the acupuncture needles?
Yeah. So
explain that first.
There are a few different philosophies. I mean, there are over 350 acupuncture points on the body. They're associated with meridians. Each have a function. Outside of that, there are also more of a medical acupuncture, which is more based on musculature, trigger points, et cetera, et cetera. So really, it depends on what you're going for and what you want to do. There's also a point where I can treat you from the head and treat your entire body, because scalp, ears, palms of the hands, and soles of the feet, I can access all parts of your body. So everybody is different. Every scenario is different, because we're all a makeup of uniqueness.
Yes.
And that's what we look at. So I can look at somebody and say, arthritis is a perfect example of a condition. Somebody might come in for pain, and I can treat them for the pain, but that's not going to help the arthritis. So if you deal with the pain, let's deal with the root cause and help diminish all levels. If you need some help in assisting with the pain, we can do that. But the goal is let's reduce it and deal with the issue, the core issue. And
Right.
the beauty of acupuncture. A lot of people don't understand that with acupuncture and Chinese medicine, we're not just dealing with somebody who tore a ligament or whatever. We're dealing with everything. We can do chronic illness, we can do pain, we can do mental health, we can do the gamut. And
That's like a whole body, that's a whole body thing.
it
Like
is.
that is so important.
And that's what people have to understand. It is a whole body process. And the goal is that your body is meant to heal itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can get you in balance, your body will heal itself to the best of its ability. Because obviously, as you age, as you live your life, you've drained certain capacities from when you were younger, let's say.
Yeah.
So our goal is to get you there. And then with what you can't fix, what can we go in and help?
Right.
So that's the goal.
That's what I like about what you do, is because it is a whole body thing. It's not just one area. It's a whole body, top to bottom kind of thing to get people back to their natural health.
Exactly. And it's not to say that if you have an injury, we can't work on that one thing, but it's best to look at everything.
At the whole picture. Exactly. Now, in your husband's case, with him being so ill, like, how did you even think, hey, let's try Chinese medicine? Like, when somebody's that ill, it's hard to imagine that you know what I mean? You're thinking, oh my goodness, like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, right? So how did you go from Western medicine to making the decision to try it? Because I guess, was it desperation, or like what was happening there?
Yeah, it is. A lot of the patients I have that are in a chronic illness state, acupuncture and Chinese medicine is never the first thing that comes to mind, or almost. Right. I don't want to isolate, because there are people who are strong believers and will come to it. But most people, it's their last ditch effort. And I get that. And, at that point, you're so mentally drained and so compromised in your mind that now your mind is impacting your illness.
Right.
And so it becomes very complex. So by the time we see somebody for chronic, they're probably well into it and the last ditch, in all honesty.
Yeah. And it's amazing that they can go from being your husband on his deathbed practically to living life.
Yeah.
It's huge, right?
And that's just it. It's I've seen some pretty miraculous things. I've had clients who thanked me because they were in some desperate situations, and it is amazing. And there's nothing more gratifying than that, which is why I got into it. I like to be able to help. I like to be able to, and if I don't see progress, I'm not happy. And
that's right.
I can be a little bulldog going, huh? What's going on?
That's right. We need to fix it.
Exactly.
Well, I originally started seeing you for migraines. And so a combination of modalities between yourself and osteopath, I've been able to actually essentially cure my migraines in the fact that I don't have them anymore. Right. So, which is awesome. And sadly for us at the moment, we are with this new lockdown. We are shut down.
Well, and I'm not.
Just are you not? Yay!
I am not. I am still going.
Good.
Acupuncture would likely be in the next, if there's a next escalation, that would probably be right where that modality will come out. But no, I am still working through COVID. And COVID's been an interesting path for me. It's allowed me to open up and experience and bring in new modalities to continue to help my patients.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
and it's also bringing you probably a more mental health aspect as well, because this has been extremely tough on so many people. And so you've got to work on that, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, and I've brought in now NLP coaching, I've brought in Reiki and all of those things, and I combine it because it's a nice little trifecta of modalities I can use to help somebody. And it's exciting for me.
Yes, that's cool.
Ironically, I was treating somebody for depression, and they said to me over the hard lockdown, decided, thought about going into becoming a psychologist or something.
Yeah.
Well, I did when I was younger, but life happened, and here I am.
Yes.
Right. And it was because I was treating him for depression. He was getting better. And, the other part of Chinese medicine, is Qigong and nutrition. We look at those things. And with Qigong, we talk about energy and the influence of the mind on the body. And, through that, we have those conversations, and it helps provide tools for people who have fighting mental issues and mental health. And that sort of led me to do my NLP coaching so that I can more openly talk about it and bring tools to the table.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
And so important right now. So important. Absolutely.
And I'm even brought in Reiki as well, and doing Reiki with somebody who also has mental health issues with great success. So just so many tools to use, and that's what I love about it. Everybody is so unique.
So unique and so different. Yeah. Now, how do you combat, because I know, and I work with people they look at traditional Chinese medicine, they look at all of this stuff, and they're like, that's crap. It doesn't do anything. And I've had physicians say that to me. Natural stuff is garbage. I don't like, people are, crazy for even thinking about using any of these things. How do you combat that negativity and that different type of thinking, is how I will phrase it?
It's tricky. You really need to take that step back and just breathe through it myself so it doesn't taint me. And all you can say is, you need to try it. Because realistically, they need to try it. And more often than not, they do. They're like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that because it's the root of the problem, in some instances, depending on where your health is, it may take time for you to feel it, because it's so subtle. A lot of people will be like, I don't know if it's working. I don't know if it's working. And then all of a sudden, the good days start to outnumber the bad, and they're like, oh, maybe I'm just having a good day. Maybe it's a good period. And finally, they're like, no, it has to be the acupuncture, because now the good days outweigh the bad days so much.
Yes.
Right? Pain is easy. Does it hurt? Doesn't it hurt? But when it's something more chronic, it's a bit more insidious because of how many parts of you it hits, from fatigue to pain to other limitations. And it's finally that realization, like, whoa, it must be doing something. I feel better, and that's one of the things I ask my patients, because they might come in for something and I'm like, okay, so where's your fatigue level at? And I have to make them look at things more broadly. Right. And they're like, oh, yes, my energy is better. I'm sleeping better. This is happening less. Right. My bowel movements are better. Like, there's so many different things, and it's such a wide gambit, again, because we're all different. And it's about balancing.
Right.
And
absolutely,
it's incredible. And that's all you can do. Until they try it, they will never understand.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely a marriage between Western, medicine and traditional medicine, right? I
Absolutely.
think there's a place for both, right? Because I mean, I'm a nurse, so I grew up and was trained in the Western medicine. This is what you do. This is the problem. This is how you fix it, right? I'm in surgery. People
Exactly.
come, they already have the problem, right? And then we fix it. So,
You can't fix something that requires surgery. I can't
yeah,
fix something that needs an emergency intervention. Absolutely,
right.
there's place for all. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's the
Yeah.
better communication between both worlds would be better,
Yes.
right?
And I think a lot of doctors are starting to come around. And I don't know whether you've noticed this, but I know that some of our family medicine residents that come through are very open to the idea of traditional methods and like Chinese medicine
I've
to complement.
yeah, I've seen both ends of the response. Um,
Hmm.
and the patients, I find that patients who I'm going to say doctors and Eastern practitioners, if they're open to both and there's a good marriage, then absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It's when that poor
Yeah.
patient gets in the middle of, oh, don't do this because blah, 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 or you know what I mean? That's when they
Yeah.
get confused and in trouble. And frankly, it doesn't do them a service at all.
No. No. And I think prevention is huge, right?
Absolutely.
If we talk more about how do we prevent certain things, right? Then we should be focusing a lot on prevention as opposed to you've already got it, now we have to deal with it this way,
And
right? Which
unfortunately, our system doesn't pay for prevention. That becomes the issue, right? If there's no insurance coverage, etc., it's really, I mean, it becomes a financial block for some people.
absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of insurance companies only cover a certain portion and
Yeah.
then they're SOL, right? And then they have to
Yeah.
stop doing their treatments because it's like, okay, well, it's only this much and that's it. That's all you get, right?
Right.
Whereas if they put a little more into it, then people would be better, right?
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I mean, there are so many things you can do for yourself,
Hmm.
and controlling the mental aspect,
Hmm.
controlling the anxiety, all of that. I mean, anxiety that festers and it manifests in the body.
Yeah.
Emotion festers and manifests in the body. And by the time it manifests in the body, it's a very big issue.
Yeah. And self-care is so important. I mean, people don't realize the little things that you do really help improve, like meditation,
Yes,
journaling, right? If you have a little, something going on, going to see someone like yourself for acupuncture or, the services that you offer, because then you're looking after you as a whole,
exactly.
right?
And that's the trick. And with self-care, that's all tied in with self-worth and self-love. And it's funny because it's the first thing we're willing to sacrifice. And
Yes.
most often than not, it's for somebody you love, right? Oh, I can deal with it. I'm going to not do this and let's get you there. Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
but,
And how many women do that,
and it's just
right?
a woman
You
thing.
know, your
Absolutely.
wives, mothers. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I gotta look after the kids, right? That's huge. A lot of moms are like, I gotta look after the kids. And they totally forget about themselves. You
Exactly.
know, they stop
Or,
moving, they overeat, you know what I mean? Like you're on the fly, you're getting junk food, blah, blah, blah. You got to take the kids here, there, and everywhere. And they forget about themselves, right?
exactly. Exactly. Or the other thing is, we call it self-care, but it's a way of creating numbness. So, because self-care is work. It's not always that relaxing massage or that manicure or whatever.
Hmm.
Self-care is work. It's about looking at your emotions, working through that, looking at your physical, working through any of those issues. It's about working through, and there's shadow work involved in self-care. And I think people forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
And they think it's self-care when really it's more, I'm going to mind numb myself so I don't have to deal with certain things.
Yeah.
And that becomes as dangerous, right? Because you think you're doing the right thing and maybe you're not.
Yeah.
Right?
More self-harming as opposed to fulfilling, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So really it's a matter of understanding yourself and your needs and being in the present. And I find in our society, we find it very hard to be in the present. We're either living in the future or we're living in the past.
Worrying about what's coming and worrying about what's been.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And that is what we do as a society, I think. And the best thing to do is find some time and sit with yourself. Get into your body, be present, and just, what do I need? Ask yourself that question. And, when life is swirling around you, especially in COVID, COVID has been great for introverts and not so great for extroverts, right?
No.
Introverts find it challenging. Introverts, oh my goodness, I don't have to deal with everybody. Great.
I don't have to go out anywhere. I don't have to do anything.
So what do you need? And where can I find myself? Where can I get 5 to 10 minutes and just sit and breathe and be with myself and find that quiet where I can quiet my mind and just relax, have everything relax.
Yeah.
Right? This is what everybody wants. I mean, and I know that I've taught natural breathing to you, and basically it's taking those breaths, bringing it 1.5 inches past the navel, so you're belly breathing like infants do.
Instead of chest breathing. A lot of people chest breathe.
Exactly.
And it's actually belly breathing. Yeah.
And the belly breathing, the benefits are astronomical. I have people that come in with shoulder pain, and I tell them, I want you to breathe like this. I want you to drop your shoulders, because when you drop your shoulders, you make space within the joint.
Exactly.
And you relieve the pain in that way. There are so many aspects to it. And, it's funny, when I was doing my Lamaze course with my husband started to laugh. And I'm like, honey,
what are you laughing at?
And I'm like, what is up? And he's like, you don't need to do this. He's like, your normal breathing is like their Lamaze breathing. And your Lamaze breathing, you may as well stop breathing. And it's because I practice the natural breathing all the time.
Yes.
When you natural breathe, it is hard to have anxiety when you're doing that type of breathing, because your system, it's bringing your system out of fight or flight. And in reality, our everyday life is designed for us to stay in a fight or flight mentality. And when you are in a fight or flight mentality, your body cannot heal. So you're always, always, always draining your energy reserves.
Right.
That's when disease sets in.
Yeah. You drain your adrenals. You drain you become into like an inflammatory state almost, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And when you drain those reserves, you accelerate disease, because we all have a natural course of disease based on our genetics and our exposures. It's how fast you deplete yourself will dictate how fast you get into disease.
Right. And so why don't we try that belly breathing? Why don't we try that with our people here?
Okay.
Let's do it. So how do you want us to be?
Okay. I want everybody to sort of, if you're sitting, I just want you to maybe put your feet on the floor. I want you to try to keep your back aligned, head straight.
Sit up straight, everyone.
I'm just going to take a little drink of water so I'm not coughing everywhere.
I know when I talk a lot, my throat gets dry too.
Uh-huh.
You get that little tickle and everybody's like, oh my God, COVID cough.
Exactly what I have. Okay. So I want everybody just to relax in. Start breathing as you would now normally. I want you to take the air in through your nose. And I want you to bring it 1.5 inches past your navel. Hold it for a minute. And then I want you to release slowly. I would like you to keep doing that. In through your nose. Down to your belly. Hold. And exhale. Slowly through your mouth. One more time. Inhale through your nose. Hold. Exhale for a count of 7. And come back. How are you
That's
feeling?
awesome. Yay. And that can be beneficial anytime you're feeling anxious, anytime you're feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly.
It just brings you back to center, right?
It does.
And
it grounds you.
And Caroline is sending us hearts today.
Awesome, Caroline. I hope you enjoyed it.
It's just such an easy thing to do. And if you do it every day, like even just starting your day off, just putting yourself in that position and out, right?
Exactly. And I like to call it the rock in the storm. I always see this big boulder with this rushing water. And when you feel like you're getting put off balance, just sit and do that for a couple of minutes.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. And Caroline's at work today, so we won't tell her workplace. Although she's a nurse too, and she works in a group home, and she probably needs to do this more often.
Well, exactly. And I mean, it's something really simple to show the elderly.
Yes.
Right?
Like
when they're feeling overwhelmed, right? It's an exercise that you can do with them. It's simple, it's easy.
Yes, absolutely. And so effective, right?
Well,
yes, she says definitely she needs to do this more often.
Fantastic.
That's right. That's right. So in terms of your husband now, how is he? How is he doing after all of this treatment?
Back to normal. This was years ago. So
yes.
Everything
is living life.
He's living life.
That's fantastic. And what an awesome gift that you were able to help him and find him the help and get him back to life again.
Well, exactly. And I mean, what a gift. I mean, when you're going through chronic illness, even as a caregiver, you don't see it as an awesome gift. Now, for me, going into Chinese medicine, I see it as an awesome gift. And every time I get a patient saying thank you, every time I have you know what I mean? There is nothing more wonderful. That's what keeps me going, is having that. Oh no.
I think we might have lost. Oh, are you there?
I'm here. You kind of froze. You still there?
You were gone and I was frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
I don't know if it's my internet or yours. So if anybody would like to get in touch with Marisa, her email, or actually her website, and learn more about the services that she offers is www.ipath, the number 2, heal, heal.com. And I'm going to try and figure out how to put this into here so that everybody can see it, so that they can contact you
Fantastic.
themselves and can get on the path to healing. And then you can tell me if I did that correctly, because
no worries.
let me see. Yay!
Yay!
You know how technically challenged I can be.
Yeah, I think I was technically challenged this morning.
I know, right? That's okay. It's what we're doing now, right? It's like
exactly.
It's all this technical stuff. I know I've been on a technical learning journey. And of course, you know, I'm a nurse. What do I know about technical stuff? But anyway, I want to thank you, Marisa, so much for joining me today and telling me about your story and about all that you offer and why. And it's just such a nice, amazing story about going from illness to wellness. Exactly. And self-care. And it's just, thank you so much for being here today. And again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of What Has Changed Your Life. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Find positivity, one positive thing today. And thank you again, Marisa. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.